Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we're gonna continue on the Colombia adventure. Have you ever dreamed about pristine beaches, lush jungle, and a deep dive into the country's rich history? This is the perfect itinerary for you. In this video, I'll guide you through an incredible 4-day itinerary, 2 days in the vibrant city of Santa Marta, and 2 days in the breathtaking beauty of Tayrona National Park. I'll be sharing some tips about my experience, so let's get started. Let's talk about how to get to Santa Marta from Cartagena. There are different ways you can get there. First, let's talk about getting there by bus. I went there by bus and it took me about 4 to 5 hours, I believe. So let's talk about what options do you have? What companies or options do you have? If you're trying to go for the luxury type of bus, I do recommend Marisol or Berlinas, but they do have other options. When you go to the bus terminal, they do have other options, and the tickets cost around $22 to get to Santa Marta. So if you're not trying to spend 4 to 5 hours on the road, if you do not have the patience, or if you want a faster option, the fastest way to get there is by plane. You can take Avianca or LATAM or Beaver. They do have other airlines, but those are the ones I'm familiar with, and the ticket is probably around $50 to $100 one way to get there, and you should be able to get there under an hour. And the name of the airport is called Simon Bolivar Airport. When you get to the airport, or when you land in Santa Marta, either at the airport or bus terminal, the best option is to take the taxi. They do have other mode of transportation, but I do recommend you take the local taxi to your preferred hotel. So let's talk about the stay. There are different places to stay in Santa Marta. You can stay in downtown Santa Marta in the city center, or you can stay around the city center, maybe like 10-15 minutes away. So the Airbnb I got was about 15 to 20 minutes away from the city center, and it was a very, very gorgeous Airbnb because it was a hotel, but it was listed on Airbnb, and it cost around $50 per night. And the place was very, very beautiful, but it was kind of like windy. I really don't know why. It was windy, it was cold, I had to use hot water, and but usually Santa Marta is like a hot city, very humid, because it's in the coast of Colombia, so that's like the hot side of Colombia. So I didn't know why it was so cold and so windy. Anyways, but during the day it was like pretty hot, but during the night it was cold. Early morning it was cold. I don't know why. Now that you've sorted out your accommodation, let's talk about things to do in Santa Marta. This is how your first day should go. You're gonna start your morning at Parque de los Novios, which is a lively square surrounded with cafes and restaurants. So you do have different restaurants and cafes to grab your breakfast and get something to eat before you go on your adventure. First, you can visit the Gold Museum to learn about the Tayrona civilization. Once you're done at the Gold Museum, you can head to the hacienda where Simon Bolivar spent his last day, which is called Quinta de San Pedro. Once you're done at the hacienda tour may come with food, or you can head to the beach and grab some lunch or dinner, or go back to the city center and go grab lunch or dinner. And that will be it for the first day of your itinerary. So the second day, I do recommend you go to like a day trip. You can take a day trip to the beach. You can take a short boat ride to Playa Blanca, and you should get like a tour package that includes food, so you can eat on the beach, or you can just buy your own food. You can take your own boat ride, but I suggest you do like a tour package so they can take care of every details for you. But if you don't feel like going to the beach, you do have another option. There's a small town right outside of the city of Santa Marta, and it's called Minca. If you're into like coffee farm, you want to do like a coffee farm tour, do like the package where you do the coffee farm, you have your breakfast, you have your lunch, and they do have like waterfall in Minka, so you can do the package that has the waterfall visit as well, and you can take sometimes at the waterfall. You do have eco lounges there. You can book the eco lounge for the day, or you can just stay there overnight. So the third day, I do recommend you go to Tayrona Park, and I recommend you doing 2 days tour in Tayrona. So if you're gonna be there for 2 days, I do recommend you book a place in Tayrona. So it's like 2 days in Santa Marta, 2 days in Tayrona. So when you do that, you have more time to explore. When I went there in 2021, I stayed in Viajero, Tayrona Hostel, and Echo Apps. So I booked the Echo app in Tayrona because I didn't want to stay in the hostel. Sorry. And it costs $135 per night, and it comes with food. Even though I didn't like the food, I didn't like the food, so I suggest you go. If you're a food lover like me, I do suggest you look around, have your transportation or what. Oh yeah, another good way, you can rent a car. You don't have to take taxis all the time. You can rent a car. So yeah, do find restaurants around the area. It was just too late for us. We didn't rent a car, so we were like stuck eating the Echo Hub or the hostel food. But the hostel is very, very beautiful. We had like an entire space to ourselves. We had a room, we had our own bathroom, we had our bed, we had a couch. So it was very massive. We had like a private section to ourselves, and they do have like we have access to the beach, which was very peaceful, beautiful, and the property do have like activities during the day for everybody to participate in, and it was free. We did some activities on the property, and we also partied. They do have a lounge, so we did we went dancing a little bit in the lounge. And the following day we did a hiking tour to El Satillo, and I can't remember how much it cost, but it's probably like $50 for the tour, and it took us about 2 to 3 hours. It was hectic, but I do recommend it if you like hiking. It was actually a good experience. I went there with my brother and my husband, so like it was actually fun. But we didn't anticipate that it was going to take about 3 hours to complete the entire thing. It was so long. We crossed the river, crossed the old, a little river running by. We were at the top of the mountain. We got to the waterfall. Yeah, like that where El Saltillo is actually a waterfall. That's the purpose of the hike. We were walking towards the waterfall, and when we got there, it was the best thing ever. When I tell you, it was the best thing ever. We took our time and stayed there, took some showers, enjoyed our time there, took some pictures, some videos. It was amazing, guys. I highly recommend that tour. Or you can go to Tayrona Park and do the Tayrona tour. So one important thing to note, do not go to Tayrona Park in February. Do you know why? The reason why you can't go to Tayrona Park in February is because it's closed. Yeah, every February, Tayrona Park is closed for cleansing. Why is it closed for cleansing? Because that's when the indigenous residents, they do the cleansing of the land. That's their land. That's their ancestral land. And they have to do cleansing every February. And that has to be respected. You can't have access to Tayrona Park. So if you're trying to book and go there, please do not go in February. Respect the people's culture. Respect the people's land. And you're not going to have access. So don't waste your money. Don't waste your time. Just don't go. Okay? Before we wrap up, let's take a moment to appreciate the rich history of this region. Santa Marta was the first Spanish settlement in the Colombian mainland and also the gateway for the colonial exploration. But long before that, the Tayrona people have thrived here for hundreds of years. They've built cities as high in the mountains and by the coastline. The descendants, the Kogi, the Arhuaco, the Weaver, are still the inhabitants of these lands, and they also keep the culture, the tradition, and they are also the guardian of the Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta. Their philosophy revolves around harmony with nature, a lesson we can all take to heart. 4 days of exploring Santa Marta and Tayrona Park is the perfect balance between history, culture, and adventure. From colonial charm to untouched beaches, this trip has something for everyone. If you're planning a trip to Santa Marta or Tayrona Park, or you've already been there, please drop in a comment and let me know what your favorite part of this trip is. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification button for more travel videos like this. If you haven't watched my last video, just go ahead and click here.